morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live Show, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy from Miss Tracy Kessler, we hop on every Friday and talk about everything North Fork. Our guest today is Pete Treiber from Treiber Farms, and if you don't know which farm that is, you've probably driven past it a few times. They have this beautiful Peconic. It's definitely a good Instagrammable photo, so I'm sure you've taken a photo there. Good morning, Tracy. How are you? Are you? I didn't get the weather report today because, as you can see outside, summer. Remember how we were talking about summer last week, just last week,
What
and how we were
was
loving
that
it?
last week? Was that last week?
It was only last week, and how quickly has it left from here? And I feel like fall has taken a strong hold. There's no denying that.
I know.
It's so much rain.
I know.
And I have this weird light. It's like, because I have wood paneling, everything is dark. So I had put on this filter so it would be brighter. And now it's just so weird. It doesn't even look like me.
I was going to say, did your makeup team show up this
Yeah.
morning? Because mine did not.
I was, because I was running late and I was just trying to find something that would brighten it. Because usually I don't use a filter, but it was just so dark and not dingy, but it's just the rain. I must say that there was one beautiful day in between where the sun came out and I was like, yay, baby, it's back. I went for a beautiful walk that day. And then I can't believe it's raining again.
I know. Well, I was in the city for a lot of that. So I think that was Wednesday that it was beautiful because that was our drive home. But the whole time we were in the city, it just poured the entire time.
Well, this is your busy season, right? So you have a couple of events that you're working on. I can't believe how your life has changed post-pandemic.
I know. No, it really is. Well, everyone says to me like, oh, events are coming back. I'm like, oh my God, I'm busier than I've ever been before. Yeah, it is.
That's a good thing, right?
It is a great thing. It is a really, really great thing to have financial stability when you've got a baby and you're on your own.
And I'm saying changed, but it's really going back to what your life used to be.
Yeah. Yes.
Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
Hey, Peter. How are you doing?
Good.
Wait, okay,
I wish I had.
Quick question. Do farm people love rainy days like this or not?
It depends, really. I mean, this time of year, it's sort of fine because most of our crops are done, and there isn't like a ton of pressure to be out in the field and be picking berries and things that don't like a ton of rain, like outdoor tomatoes. So yeah, we don't mind right now. I would have liked some more rain earlier in the summer when it was, it didn't rain for like a month, but right now it's fine. I love the fall. I was born in September, and it's my favorite time of year. So, and there is no such thing as bad weather. It's poor planning. So if you don't have the right gear.
That's the son of a hunter right there. That's the son of a hunter, because I have that sentence in my vocabulary as well.
Right. So
it's poor clothing. Yep.
Yeah. We have all the right gear, and my team is out harvesting right now for our farm stand and the Sag Harbor Farmers Market. So they're doing what needs to get done, but there's not like a ton to do right now. So right now it's a lot of sort of putting certain areas of the farm to sleep for the year and organizing and cleaning up. And we just moved this tool shed to like the middle of the field, and we emptied the whole thing, and we're going to empty another tool shed. And so I love all that stuff. I love organizing. I love having systems in place and having things neat and tidy. So it's really lovely to have that time. Yeah, it's really nice to have that time and to have a team that's into it as well, and we can like all knock things out super quickly. So
let's back up, and can you tell us how you because sitting here now you sound very knowledgeable about farming, but I know that that's not your background. So tell us how you landed on the North Fork and being a farmer. How'd that happen?
Sure. I was in Brooklyn, New York City from like 2010 to 2016, and sort sort of in the middle of all of that, I had some friends that started working on farms, namely out here, actually, out in like Amagansett at Quail Hill and Amber Waves. And I'd done a little bit of volunteering on a farm upstate, and I visited them. And while I was in the city, I was working for an artist, and I was doing, metal fabrication and carpentry, and making short films and making fine art with this mentor boss of mine, and with other artists in this big, community art space in Brooklyn called the Invisible Dog Art Center. And then my dad was retiring and was talking about starting a farm, or at least buying some land. And my family had already had a summer home out here in Orient since like back in the mid 90s, and my grandparents lived out here my whole life. So my dad found some land, and he started making his sort of like second career move into that space. And he had no designs for me to join him, but I definitely showed a lot of interest. And that was 2014. He bought the first tract of land, and then I moved out in 2016. I left all the art world of Brooklyn behind, and I moved straight out here May of 2016. And I brought with me a lot of skills, or applicable skills at least, the carpentry and builder skills, creative problem solving. And so I wasn't like a total newbie to being on my feet all day and working hard.
You mentioned carpentry and skills. I watched the transformation of that barn as it happened. Were you involved in that? How did that barn come to be? Is it restored, or I don't know what the correct term is?
The barn, most everything on this property was up to date when they were purchased. Luckily, a carpenter had been living and renting here for, I think, about a decade. Mike Widener was his name. And his deal was, pretty inexpensive rent in exchange for keeping up the barns. And they were owned by the Zabrowski family. And we were very lucky. But the I think you're referring to the mandala piece on the side, that was half finished when we purchased the farm. And myself and Mike Widener spent 3 weeks, September, October of 2016, and we finished it. So
it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
My second question is, did the truck come with the farm?
It did. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's been there forever.
Yeah. Mike,
remember.
Yeah, Mike was not only was he like a carpenter, mostly in like restoration, like fine woodworking stuff. He, people will still come by and remember didn't you used to have barn sales and stuff like that? Yeah. He was like a picker. I mean, he would, gather all sorts of old, door hardware and giant railroad spikes and nails and this and that and old, reclaimed wood. And he had like an old touring school bus here, an old 1970s bus. He had a 1940s Dodge truck. And then one holiday, either Memorial Day or 4th of July, he was like, oh, it looks like the back of this truck is sort of like the right, ratio for a flag. And he went down to Ace Hardware and got red, white, and blue paint. And he cut out all the stars individually by hand.
Wow.
Out of wood. And he painted it, and it's actually, the flag is on both sides. And yeah, we were kind of striking a deal with Mike when we got the place. We're like, he's like, oh, do you want this? Do you want that? I was like, I'll take the table saw, I'll take the chop saw, I'll take, the joiner, the planer, all sorts of tools. And, he was moving to, Coram or something. And he was like, I can't take this old flag truck with me. Not that you'd have to flatbed it, because there's no way that thing would, that's not
I was a little terrified. I was a little terrified when you guys were moving it, but now it makes sense that it's double-sided because of where it was parked before. You really could see it from both sides. But then one day I saw you guys moving it and I was thinking, I hope they're not getting rid of it. And then I saw it in its new location and I was like, yes, it's staying.
Yeah, no, it's not going anywhere. And it made so much sense when I was working with my friend Bobby Jeffries, who's a great graphic designer, to come up with the logo for Treiber Farms. That's the landmark that sort of existed before we ever did should remain, and I'm glad it did. And it is like a great logo and a great landmark. And you know, there's also some controversy when the New York Times wrote that article a couple of years ago about American flags, and it was a picture of me and the flag truck on the cover of the New York Times on the 4th of July. And it was just, you know, I thought it was a great article. This woman, Sarah Maslin-Nier, wrote it. And it was just sort of begging the question of, like, has the symbol of the flag changed in the last couple of years, especially with, you know, changing political climate? And, you know, the answer, I think, really was yes. I mean, like, you know, people sort of politicizing the flag and everything. And I got this, you know, huge outpouring. I mean, I got people reaching out to me from London, England, to Seattle, Washington, to Boston.
I think he got a phone. Wait, did you get a phone call, Pete? Because we couldn't hear it.
Yep. Are you back now, Pete?
I never got a phone call. No.
Well, you got
that's so weird.
Something. Instagram is weird. If something interrupts, it mutes you.
Yeah. So wait. So you got calls from London and Boston, and then what did they say?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a like an overwhelming support of, you know, keeping the flag flying, and that, you know, like, it was people who were you know, first generation immigrants to the country, and saying, like, you know, I love the symbol of the flag. I love the symbol of the country. It's a beautiful place. The flag is for everyone. Because I think, you know, you can interpret what you read however you want. And some people thought that because the flag was politicized, that I would, like, maybe take it down. So a lot of people were just saying, like, keep flying that flag and don't get rid of the truck. And yeah, it was a beautiful moment. I thought it was a really great article, and she did a nice job of sort of interviewing lots of folks, you know, namely, like, people out here. And yeah, so anyway, the truck's not going anywhere. It's definitely, you know.
Okay, let's talk about the farm and the farming for a minute, because you are a farm. Tell us what you grow, and tell us about the farm stand that you've now sort of not created, but you're using one of the existing buildings as your farm stand, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. So I'll begin with that. You know, this is my 8th season farming. I've been out here 7 years full time on this farm, and there's been many iterations of us, you know, of Treiber Farms. You know, starting with wholesale in 2017, selling to the North Fork Table and Inn. Was our first, like, real big client. And you know, from there, I've tried, you know, roadside retail, and I've tried, you know, I've done a lot of events, and you know, I've never done really a farmer's market. I've tried a CSA for 2 seasons. And
wasn't there something with one of the fancy ice cream places in Brooklyn?
Yeah, we made ice cream with Van Leeuwen ice cream 3 times. So like, you know, I sold them all of our blackberries one year, all of our raspberries one year. Yeah, it was great. It was super super fun. And so yeah, I mean, I've never taken the sort of, like, typical tact of, you know, like, we just do green markets or we just do wholesale. I've always just been trying to figure out, like, what is best suited for our like, scope and scale, and, you know, always leaning towards being super collaborative. Like, you know, you mentioned the ice cream. I've always been trying to find ways to get our products, our produce, our fruit, our herbs, our flowers, whatever, out into the world in ways that, you know, kept me excited and kept me, you know, juiced about the work I'm doing. And so,
well, you can see the artist in you coming out in that way, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I never wanted to just, like, sort of completely kill that part of myself. And
well, you do continue to remain an artist, correct?
Yes.
Because I have seen in some art studios locally.
Yes, yes.
And
I am.
you're kind of doing both things, farmers.
Absolutely, yeah. No, and even in the arts, in the art practice, been using a lot more materials from the farm, as much as I can. You know, using dried corn husks and sort of incorporating, or at least bringing attention to the agriculture in different ways in the sculpture and the collage and all that. So, yeah, no, the creativity never left. It just sort of been like redefined, and I've sort of shifted my attitude about it. So I have done all the wholesale. So well, I'll finish the thought about like the so now this year we are doing the Sag Harbor Farmers Market. We are doing wholesale to restaurants. Our best client has been Leon 1909 on Shelter Island. Okay. And now we have this on-farm retail. It's an existing barn. It was my chicken coop when I first started in 2016. We cleaned it out, we painted it, we put in a refrigerator, we put in some shelving, and it's really pretty. It's open 7 days a week right now. And I never thought that we would have people showing up all the time. There's just like a mental block about having a little farm store and keeping it stocked and keeping it pretty and keeping it fun. And it's been fantastic, and I'm super glad for it. And right now we are selling lots of nice fall things. So we have winter squash, like delicatas and honey nut and butternut and things like that. We have all sorts of jar goods. So we have some new products this year. We have a roasted cherry tomato confit.
It's muted you again. I think you're back.
Okay, now you're back.
Yeah, I have a time limit on my Instagram, 15 minutes. So
wow,
keep
impressive.
the yeah. I don't often use that, but I just ignore that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, we have new jar goods. We have blueberry jam, blackberry jam, roasted cherry tomato confit, diced tomatoes, San Marzano tomatoes in a jar. What was the other one? Yeah, we got honey that we just harvested, and then we're waiting on one other product from East End Food Institute, which is going to be a spiced tomato jam, which we're excited about, which is made with our heirloom tomatoes. And then in the fridge, it's broccolini. We have radicchio, escarole. We have apples from our orchard. We still have some watermelons left.
Wow, you have quite a variety of things you grow.
Yeah. I mean, we have our perennial fruit. So to reference the farm land, we have about 14 acres in production, and so that's majority of which is the fruit trees and the berries, and everything was planted from scratch starting in 2015, 2016. And so some of the tree fruit is like really coming around, and we've had our first tree fruit crops the last couple of years. And so we've had apples this year, we've had pears, we actually had a huge crop of peaches, which is really exciting. And everything is super organic and unsprayed. So, I mean, we do some preventative sprays with like copper and some of this like clay stuff. But for the most part, as far as I can tell, we're the only folks that have like super clean tree fruit, which is super neat. And then all of our berries are completely unsprayed. So we have blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. And so that's like a majority of the land out on like the north side of the road. So if anyone's ever been here, we have our whole like our HQ, our headquarters, all the barns, events, farm stands, everything is on the south side of the north road.
This is how I see it, where the truck is. And then
yes.
on the other
Yeah, you cannot see where we farm at all. So there's still like some, confusion as to like, who we are and what we do, because what you can see, what is visible is the big old barn, the truck, our driveway, and then if you come in here, you see you can see the greenhouse and things like that. But you can see the community garden, which is like out on the road, and our high tunnel, our growing tunnel. And so people are like, "Wow, you grow so much on such little space." And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, you can't necessarily see where we're doing the work." So yeah, on the north side of the road, it's like
you have chickens on the other side of the road, right? Because I see them roaming
that is Feisty Acres.
Okay.
They lease land from us, so they're out on that like big swath of land. That's the we'd call like the East pasture. So
I also have colorful boxes on the far end. Is that your honey bee hive thing?
Yes. We have honeybees, and we just harvested honey for this year last week, which was really fun. My dad does all the beekeeping. He's been doing it since I was in high school, and so it was fun to put on a suit and go do that with him and our other.
You have one of those like things, whatever.
You do go and you do shoot some smoke at the bees when they're swarming and you're opening their hive and bothering them in their hive, and it's pretty wild. I mean, very like a sort of against human nature to be standing there with all that bee buzzing around. Typically you'd be wanting to swat your hands, but you're totally protected in a suit, and it's really really special, really incredible to be there opening these hives and seeing the work that these bees do. And people compliment us on our honey, and I always joke that I'll let the bees know, because I have nothing to do with the actual honey making. It is the bees that do that. But we do try and provide as much, sort of variety in flowering species, and we'll even plant some things in the summer like buckwheat that bees really dig. So yeah, we got bees as well.
Okay,
but yeah, really,
we can't let you go without talking some of the events that you host. Do you have any events coming up? I know you do a lot of collaboration. I went to one towards, I think, where your beehives are. Is that art in the farm? You have some sculptures out back in the field. Because I went to a sound bath.
Yes, that was a great event.
That was such a great event.
And the tea,
all of it was amazing.
Thank you.
So what else? Do you have anything coming up?
No, we're kind of
have the Festival of Trees.
Yeah, we have the Festival of Trees coming up in November, which we love doing with Cast every year. But this year, and this is a good plug, we've actually rented out the barn. We have our fourth and final event next Saturday, just private events. So folks that would have wanted to use the space.
You've done some family events there, correct, Tracy?
Yeah. We had my father's 70th birthday there.
Yeah. Yep. So, we've finally I've been giving people, quotes and numbers and trying to figure out how to, honestly, make some money off of that space, monetize the space. And that's the word. And
so that big barn where the truck is parked in front is available for private events. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. We've had I
tell you, Peter, when I first moved here, which was in early 2017, I attended the screening. Do you remember when you did the screening? It was like your friend who did a movie, and then they did a talk after, and then we all danced after. And
there was music.
I attended that, and the doors were open on both sides, and on the north side, like a shooting star went by, and half of us all went like, because we happened to like catch it out of the corner of our eye. And I remember I was like wavering whether I was going to stay on the North Fork, and that night I was like, oh, I'm staying. This is why I want to be here. Like this vibe, this sort of community, but like low key. You don't have to worry about what you're wearing. Like everybody's just there to like meet each other. Like that was an instrumental night in me making a decision to stay here.
Wow, thanks, Tracy. You've
hosted some amazing events there. I know there's been like tie-dyeing workshops or just creating, paints and fabrics and outdoor fire cookouts. Every time I look there, every event you host sounds magical.
Thank you. Yes, we've that goes back to what I was saying before about how I've tried a lot of different things, and just sort of selfishly in the beginning, I was like, well, I want to hear some good original music, and so my friend Dustin came out and played some music in the barn in 2017, and then I met this other band from New Orleans, and they've come and played 3 times, and Dustin and his wife have been here 4 times, and we've had Grateful Dead cover bands and taco nights and movie nights and original film screenings.
Keep doing it because it all sounds amazing. Keep doing it.
Yeah,
those events that start from, because that's exactly how I started North Fork Affair too. It was like, what are things that I want to do? And then you just kind of put it together and people show up and you meet like-minded folks. And those are the best kind of ways to approach business, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all very, in line with everything I dig and I like to attend myself. And it's all very organic and, not super crazy production values, and learning a lot about events. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, we're kind of done for the year. We got one more private event, and then we actually have something that we did 2 years ago that's for East End farmers, and it's called Farm Prom. So 2 years ago we did it. We skipped last year. We're doing it again this year. It's with my friend Shani. And it's basically for East End farmers to come, and some friends of the farmers as well to come. And
wait, so I want to hear more. What happens at this prom? Like, is it a theme? Do you dress up?
Yeah, I mean it's I'll probably be wearing suspenders and cowboy boots.
We know what you're wearing.
But no, it's
Don't forget the hat.
I'm always wearing a hat. So my friend Shani did it at a farm she used to work on down in Maryland. And it's really just a fun way at the end of the year to gather your friends, your farming friends, and get dressed up and listen to music and eat pizza. And, out here for us, we have our farm jobs, and that takes up a lot of time and a lot of energy. And especially during the season, we all don't get to hang out very much. I mean, luckily there's some programming through East End Food Institute where where there's tours in the spring and in the fall. Called the Craft Tours, which is an acronym for like regional organic farmer or something in training. And so it's just for young farmers to go visit other farms and see other people's operations. But it's a great way for us to all connect and to socialize. And so we don't get to see each other, and especially like the South Fork farmers, we don't really get to hang out with them very often because it's just so far away. And so, yeah, we decided to do the prom a couple years ago. It was a nice showing. And then this year we've planned further ahead, and we've sent out save the dates. And I'm making some artwork for official invite soon. And it's a nice way to.
When is that, Peter?
We're doing it October 21st. So that's.
Poppy can go, but I don't know that we qualify.
Yeah, no, we don't qualify, but Poppy can go.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and just like keep using that space as much as we can. And
will there be a lineup of tractors outside? That's how we'll know everyone's there.
Everyone will be traveling by tractor. No, you'll probably just see people in overalls walking around with a drink in their hand. But yeah, I mean, we're excited for next year. I'm really thrilled to have a new farm manager. Her name is Brooke Perrette. She was at Sylvester Manor on Shelter Island before, and she joined us this year. I'm thrilled. It's been super fun collaborating with her. She's definitely very much we're like of one brain, and we get to just like cook up new ideas for the farm, and she's just really helped me execute this year. And we're excited to do a lot of planning this winter so that we have I want to have like a full event schedule pre-planned. Typically a lot of these things have come, a chef reaches out, oh, I'd like to do dinner. And then I've got 3 or 4 weeks, if that, to put together, a poster or, a newsletter to say hey, buy tickets for this thing. And we really want to stop doing that and really plan ahead and really, fill that events calendar on our website. And so people can be visiting in the off season and be planning out, next year, next summer.
That's good. Good plan.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right. So Peter, it's been fabulous chatting with you. But we usually end our show with the NOFO Live 5. So I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going to say, if you were going to take Sunita and I out to lunch or dinner on the North Fork, where would you take us? Where's your spots?
Okay. Lunch or dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Your choice.
I mean, Be breakfast, any food.
Lunch, we're going to the Kutchog Diner.
Okay.
And you can order whatever you want, but I'm getting the tuna melt on rye with curly fries and an Arnold Palmer. The woman there doesn't give me a menu because she knows my order. And for dinner, I think we're going to live it up, and we're going to go to Shelter Island, and we're going to go to Leon 1909 and enjoy vegetables from Treiber Farms being served back to us in various forms. And I don't know if either of you have been there, but it is a beautiful. It was an old Capital One bank, and they made this Capital One bank into a incredible dining experience with this huge hearth in the middle of the dining area where they finish everything on open flame. So there's just like a huge open fireplace essentially where they're doing all the main cooking.
You know if they open all year? I know they had outdoor seating. I know some.
They are open pretty much all year. I think they close for 3 or 4 weeks in January.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. We're gonna have to make a trip, Sunita.
Yeah.
Peter, you're gonna have to live up on this.
Let's go. I mean, it's a great day to go to the Kutchog Diner is a day like today where it's a little rainy. Yeah. You don't want to eat, at home or leftovers, which is typically what I eat. And then, my two teammates, Brooke and John, we love to go there, and we all order tuna mints, and it's quite lovely.
Time.
Pardon me?
Sitting. It definitely transports you to another time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, growing up on Long Island, in high school and stuff, Nassau County, like that's what you did.
Yeah.
Is like you went to diners and like you had your favorite diners.
Diner over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Okay. And you just catch it over the farm, or is there a secret?
Yeah. So the way my house is situated, so I live on the farm. So the way the house is situated, over my left shoulder here, it sets sort of like right over the neighboring horse farm and my high tunnel and everything. And so you just kind of like open the kitchen door, enjoy, and then close the door. I mean, it's pretty nice.
That's living.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I never thought of driving to the horse farm and catching the picture from there. That must be a beautiful view.
Oh, it's very nice. Like looking over 48, it's super nice. And occasionally, you're down at like Kenny's Beach, which is the closest beach to us, and that's super pretty as well.
Yeah.
Okay, brewery or vineyard?
Brewery.
Do I even need to ask which one?
No, not really. I mean, I like a good Pilsner beer, and so if I did go to a vineyard, it'd probably be to Croteau. It's like being in Europe.
France.
It's like being in the south of France. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Well,
and the wine's pretty good too.
Creative artists.
Yeah.
Because those wines.
Yeah.
Just that huge tree in the center with their garden.
They have the old barns and everything, and it's just like, I don't know, you're so tucked away. It's really pleasant, and it's not too big. It's never.
There's no buses pulling in there.
No, there's no buses pulling in there, and even like the brewery sometimes, on a Saturday they like always have live music, and there's like hundreds of people there. So if you want like a little intimate spot, for some rosé, you go to Croteau.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So when it sounds like you cook a lot at home, and obviously you're using your own vegetables, but if you and your fruits, but if you need to go get other stuff that you guys don't grow, where do you generally go?
We go to a little spot called the IGA, which I think everyone's heard of out here. No, but if we don't go to the IGA, we go to Deep Roots Farm in Southold. Okay. We go to 8 Hands Farm in Kutchog. And that's like kind of it. I mean, maybe go to like Lombardi's in Mattatuck on Love Lane and get some of their goods there. I love that store. So yeah, I mean, that's really it. We're lucky. We have, all the local proteins out here. There's this young farmer that we've met recently. It's buddies with my dad through hunting, is Ben Sebercool, and he's NOFO cattle company. And so he's raising grass-fed beef. And Tom at Deep Roots does pork and typically chicken. Feisty Acres does chicken. And then obviously we have all like the baymen and the fishermen. So I always say, like, as part of my my spiel about the North Fork, I was like, we kind of, I mean, if you're into food and wine and spirits, I mean, we have everything locally. I mean, we have everything. We have it all.
Everything you described is in like a little 2-3 mile radius, maybe a 5 mile radius around you. You really don't even have to go far. You know, all the towns on the North Fork have everything close by.
Yeah, 100%. It's incredible, and you know we get to work with a lot of great folks, and you know we got our friends at Matchbook Distilling that create spirits out of stuff that we grow, and you got the local breweries, and the wineries, and yeah, we have it all. And so, and you know my life is definitely based around food and what's the next meal and everything. So we're super lucky to be living out here, and it's. I don't know if I imagined this would be the case when I first moved out here. I mean, I definitely got into farming to learn more about food systems and to grow my own food. And yeah, it's way beyond anything I could have imagined. And somebody has commented, grow grains, stone ground. I've grown barley and wheat. I've grown emmer wheat a few times, and actually just got a bike powered grain mill for myself last Christmas.
Wait. Bike powered grain mill.
Yeah.
Are you renting
to
by the hour? Like when you come take turn?
maybe we get a couple and we can do our own exercise class out in the barn.
Yes.
Welcome to the North Fork.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Peloton.
Yeah, exactly.
We're grinding grain here. So that is something. Yeah, that is something. Grain is definitely something I'm super curious and interested in, and I've grown wheat and I've grown barley, and the barley I've turned into beer with Springs Brewery, and I've also, I've ground up my emmer wheat into flour and made bread, and I'm also we grew drying corn this year, so like an heirloom corn variety that will be ground up and turned into corn flour, or I'll turn it into masa for tacos. Mm-hmm. I built my own little like tortilla press, and we eat a lot of tacos in this household. So there's a lot of opportunity here, you know, and the weather out here is and the soil out here is great for pretty much growing everything. So we're gonna keep it diversified, keep doing the fruits and the vegetables and some grain, and I'll just keep exploring and keep having fun.
Sounds amazing,
doing
Peter.
what I'm doing.
So the last question is, why do you love being a part of the North Fork community? But I think you just answered it for us.
Yeah, wow,
everything.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I'll add a little bit to that. Is that sort of something that you said before, Tracy? Like, you know, you were at that event and you felt like you could sort of wear what you want and be who you want. And being here, I really feel like the most like myself, and I love going out to Little Creek Oysters and, knowing Ian and Rosalie, and I love running into my friends there. And I love, I mean, it's so different from the city. I mean, I run into people all the time, and it's so lovely and loving to be a part of a community like that, and to know all of your neighbors, and to collaborate, and to, to sort of like be super comfy and cozy in a community like this and feel really at home. So that's definitely part of it, is to just be friends and friendly with everybody, and to have a space where people can come and enjoy it, with you, opening it up.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you, Pete, for being on. I mean, I just loved your passion. You just smiled the entire time you talked. And farming is hard work, but you're making it sound
It
fun.
sure is.
Which it is, but it is hard work. And I've met your dad a couple of times, and I know Tracy knows him too, but he exudes the same enthusiasm for farming. So we love it. Thank you for
life. For life.
Yes.
Enthusiasm for life. And just,
Yeah.
that energy of his especially is super infectious. And we love our captain.
Well, if you haven't been to the farm, stop by at the farm stand, which is open most days a week, right? Because
it's 7 days a week.
7 days a week right now. We're open typically like nine to, now it's dark a little earlier, but to like 8 p.m. essentially. I'll just leave it open,
And in November, you're hosting the Festival of Trees, which is a huge event. If you haven't been,
which is the third weekend, right, Tracy?
Yep.
Of November. Third weekend in November.
Yeah, 17th to the 19th.
And
Of November.
yeah, and if you've never been, anybody that's listening here, it's a great event. It's perfect for the family. Hopefully the weather is good, and you get to see some beautifully decorated trees, and namely your supporting cast,
Yes.
who we love, and we do lots of work with. So yeah, come on out in November.
Yeah.
Pick up a tree.
I'll be there.
well, it's a great opportunity to see the inside of the barn. That
It
looks so beautiful.
is.
Yeah, come check out the barn, and I love that last year especially they like activated the whole barnyard, and so it's all like closed off. You can walk around, you can poke in. Our farm store will be open. Some of the other barns will be open, and you'll get to enjoy and get some hot chocolates, some cookies.
Yeah.
Check out some trees, and
Take some pictures with Santa. Yeah.
Take some pictures with Santa. Check out the farm store.
Yeah.
Come see it all. Thank you all for having me on.
Thanks, Pete.
Have a good weekend. We'll see you next Friday.
See you
Yeah,
soon.
take care, everyone.
Happy Friday, everyone.